Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna do some exploration of my own play. Even though I say it's my own play, I was working with 9 people who has the same creative freedom as me. Still, I want to use the play I'm making to explore one area of contemporary theater practice in relation to theoretical development. Before I talk about what area I want to explore, I should talk about what is my play about. It will be people from everyday life slowly acting more like animals. From just talking about taking out the trash, to get very drunk and went into an argument, with animal movement mixing within. There is no one main character, as every character will have a chance to shine. Each scene will focus on a different character, as they slowly combine to play a larger part in the narrative. The show will be composed of improvisation and actual scripted parts. With that being said, I will be exploring the direction and dramaturgy on the 21st century stage, including directing and writing, and also adaptations. How to adapt and inspire from something else that is being written or made. How my play is reflected on the entire contemporary practice. And of course, direction and dramaturgy also includes coming up with scenes and plot beats. You have the beginning and some general ideas, like the romance breakup and people getting drunk. Still, the thing is, you have to connect them or we just gotta watch it just like, why? That's why coming up with a through line is necessary. Despite a lot of things are improv, which is honestly quite risky. But we still try it. About 20 story beats for 20 minutes so. With the last 7 minutes being written, connecting it all. So speaking of which, I am one of the writers for the script. There will be a total of 10 characters in 7 minutes. It will be all 10 characters sitting in a circle, talking while they are drunk. The problem about that is everything before is improv, but still a through line is required. As Jeffrey said, how they speak and how they respond to each other is very important. It is required to take the previous character established and make them consistent with each other while giving them development. Even though some are just as thin as he is dealing with a breakup. Actually, I think that is the most developed character during the improv. But still, we take notes about it, as this is required for direction and dramaturgy. Of the little things we might use to flesh out the characters. Also lots of redrafting. To keep the character and plot consistent with each other. With the way they speak, and the way the characters bond. Despite it's only just a few pages with dialogues, it is a process that takes a while to make it work. When you have to make things consistent. That's also why I have withdrawn from several other plays, as everything is inspired from something. Not by copying it, but you understand why it works. Breaking it down point by point of the characters, the plot, the themes, and learn from those good elements. As that's how dramaturgy works, and the ways to improve our direction. Like Rhinoceros by Eugene Ionesco, with the idea of how people can slowly descend into madness. With small hiccups and people's influence that changes their worldview. Something that we plan the idea around. The other one is Cloud 9 by Carl Churchill, about accepting everyone no matter who you are. As everyone in this play we're making is gonna have a different conflict with each other. But at the end of a play, in the scripted parts, they are gonna accept it at the end and brush it off, as it's just another day. Where we got a theme and through line from. But when it comes to dialogue, Blackbird by David Harrower, a play with only 3 characters, mostly filled with dialogue. While all 3 characters has a lot of conflict with one another. Something that will be useful for my script development. The ways they will start an argument. The dialogues that contains a lot of subtext that tells you a lot about those characters. And how we use dialogue to resolve them at the end. The scripted part is similar to Blackbird, stuck in a room and talk it out. As you see in terms of direction and dramaturgy, even just a play with improvisation and 7-page script takes a lot of inspiration. Despite all those, we still have to remember we're working with people, including the actors. Scott Graham and Stephen Hogan said, Let the performance run the moves under the dialogue while the rest of the creative team look for the moments where the moves and the words really work. We're doing the scripted parts, and we're gonna run it to see how the actors may think of the movements and act according to the characters, while giving their own personality. It's a mutual effort between the both of us. It is a very important process during direction and dramaturgy to listen, instead of forcing the actors to do what we want and vice versa, and change it based on the actor's experience and knowledge. We are the ones directing and writing it, while also starring. But when someone wants to direct this scene, while the others doesn't agree with that, the actor might have to voice up, give explanation of why they disagree, what they agree or disagree with. Like one time when they give suggestion of like doing this move while the other is singing karaoke, but the other person just say no because that doesn't make any sense. Therefore, they listen, giving suggestions to the direction and the writing. So far, we talk about our play and the relationship it has with direction and dramaturgy. As we talk about the direction, adapting the text, script development, actor relationship, still, there are things to keep in mind as we are staging the unstageable. It is to balance the creativity and the rules we set up ourselves. We talk about all the direction and dramaturgy stuff. Now let's talk about the things to keep in mind. First off is cause and effect. I talk about I have to keep it consistent with the characters and plot during the writing section. But why and how? It's not just the part I'm writing. It's literally every single second in the play. Let's listen to the South Park writers.
Each individual scene has to work as a kind of funny sketch. You don't want one scene that's just like, well, what was the point of that scene? We've found out this really simple rule that maybe you guys have all heard before, but it took us a long time to learn it. But we can take these beats, which are basically the beats of your outline, and if the words "and then" belong between those beats, you're f***ed, basically. You got something pretty boring. What should happen between every beat that you've written down is either the word therefore or but, right? So what I'm saying is that you come up with an idea and it's like, okay, this happens, right? And then this happens. No, it should be this happens and therefore this happens. But this happens, therefore this happens. And that, as soon as we are able to, and literally sometimes we'll write it out to make sure we're doing it. We'll have our beats and we'll say, okay, this happened, but then this happens, and that affects this, and that does to that, and that's why you get a show that feels like, okay, this to that, to this to that, but this, here's the complication, to that. And there's so many scripts we read from new writers and things that we see.
God, I see movies.
And
you see movies that you're just watching, it's like, this happened, and then this happens, and then this happens. That's when you're in a movie just going, what the f*** am I watching this movie for? Just like, this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. That's not a movie, you know, that's not a story. Like Trey said, it's those two, but, because, therefore, that gives you the causation between each beat, and that's a story.
As we are making a coherent play, that's why it's important. Although, doesn't mean everything has to be that serious logic. Keith Johnstone also said, improv has been to encourage the rediscovery of the imagination response in the adult, the refining of the power of the child's creativity. As we should allow our imagination run wild, coming up with different scenes, scenarios, and mix them with animal motions, as this is what improv is for. So this is also important. We should find a balance between cause and effect and creativity, something to keep in mind for direction and dramaturgy. Which leads us to the conclusion. When it comes to direction and dramaturgy, it's a team effort. Everyone has their own ideas and stuff they want to portray. And by all means, just tell us. We're just gonna have the discussion afterwards. And to combine every writing, improvisation, and the directing idea to make sense. We went through several research and shows that inspire our play for helping us in practical ways and creative ways. We are making this grounded animal-themed play work, risking everything and trying to find a through line, including me. And that's the end. Hope you understand our play through the direction and dramaturgy on the 21st century stage we did. Here are all the reference lists.